Well, the parties that are contemplating divorce, they can usually get a feeling when there's a lot of at stake. For example, properties, a number of accounts, businesses, also disputes about the children, and so on. So when you see these type of situations, the recommendation is to get legal support so that you can make the best decisions for your case. There's a number of situations that could come up in a highly contested divorce, and one of them is false accusations. Of course, everything needs to be proven, and the judge will be listening to evidence, but if you're in a high conflict case where there's cases of violence, abuse, verbal abuse, and so on, the most important thing is your own safety and the safety of your children. If at any time you feel at risk, call 911. That's the most important thing. Call the cops, and they should go there and just help keep things in order, under control. If things continue happening, if incidents or threats continue happening, the cops may issue a protection order telling one of the parties to maybe leave the house, or maybe they would recommend or advise one of the parties or the spouses to ask the judge for a temporary restraining order, which means you cannot come to my house or get within 50 feet of me or 200 feet of me. If you do, I'm calling the cops, and based on that order, the cops are going to come and pick up the other person and arrest the other person for violating a judge's order for which is a restraining order. During a high conflict divorce, it is very important your mental health, because it could leave scars, and it could it could drive you to make wrong decisions that you may later regret. So that's why it's important that if you don't need to speak to the other person, if you anticipate the other person is going to be threatening you, or it's going to be going after you and things, that you can be recording things and just tell the other person, don't call me, text me first, and I'll see if I can return the call. But just control that those interactions so you can still function and make the best decisions for you. Of course, if this is a difficult time for you, maybe you may want to consider psychological counseling. And again, there's a lot of things, but I understand that how emotionally charged those conversations, when people think that their lives are being affected or they're being taken advantage of. That's why it's important that the person stays functional and mentally stable. Compromise in a divorce, that is a decision that each person has to make on their own. Each case is different, so circumstances are different. There are children involved that a person needs to consider. So there's a number of things. So the person has to be flexible in the sense that unless we can compromise here, we may be able to get past this point. Otherwise, we're just going to continue fighting, and we're not going to come to any agreement that is to our benefit that we can live with. Because if we're not able to compromise or come to an agreement, then the case is going to go to the judge, and the judge could rule either way. It could rule 100% for your party or 100% on our favor. And for most people, that is very risky. That's why most parties prefer to have some sort of control or saying power in their case to say, okay, this is something I can live with. This, unfortunately, we cannot come to an agreement, so I'll have to ask the judge. But again, the judge, we may have a strong case, but again, nothing is guaranteed in court, so the judge may see things different, and they may rule for the other party. So because of that, based on the risk tolerance that each of us has, some of us may want to be willing to compromise something you can live with instead of letting the judge, another party, make a decision that will affect our lives and the lives of our children. If you have any questions about high conflict divorce, call us at the law office of Mario Varela.